Hey guys, welcome back. It's Shelby, and today we are making little garden gnomes, and by little I mean super tiny. So the reason I want to do this is a bit ago a friend of mine gave me an adorable, really cute little plant for my windowsill. It's about that big, and if you're watching this, I want you to know it's still alive and actually doing well. You guys know I struggle with plants, but she picked out this plant perfectly so that I couldn't kill it. And she's like, it's very robust, sturdy, water it once a week, don't touch it otherwise, and it will live. And you know what? It's been living. So thank you so much for that plant. I love it. But today we are going to make it full of life with little gnomes, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to be using oven dry clay and just making cute, tiny, miniature little gnomes to fill up a super mini garden, which is just one windowsill plant that's about that big. So I'm very excited for today's video. I think I'm gonna make like 2 or 3, maybe 4 of them. But yeah, let's just get right into it. As always, I will link what you need down in the description below, along with my socials. And here we go. So you're gonna start with kneading your dough. I have a couple different colors here, and I'm just getting them nice and soft so that I'm going to be able to work with them. First off, I want to create the body of the gnome, so I'm just rolling out a little circle. These are just going to be cute little squat guys, so just a little circle, then you can work on the hat. And for that, just try and make kind of a cone shape, kind of small at one end and thick at the other. For this one, I want it to look a little bit like a mushroom, so I'm going to add some white dots to my red hat. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of shape it a little bit. I don't want it sticking straight up like a little dunce cap. I want it to be like cute, like a little floppy, you know, mushroom-shaped beanie. So I'm just going to curl the end down a little bit. I think that's pretty cute. So that is what I'm going to do for my hat. They're super fast, easy to make. Just, you know, little cone, bend the tip down, and then you can move on to other parts of the gnome. I'm making the feet right now. Basically, I just made a little circle, and I'm going to cut a little triangle out of it. Basically, you're trying to make a flat portion that the circular body can sit on, but also make it look like shoes. So you're going to want to make a little Pac-Man shape, like almost like a crescent, but more just like a little divot, and imagine that they're wearing pointy shoes, and those shoes are going to come out to the front, and that's basically what the bottom of the gnome's going to be, but it also provides a nice flat platform for the body to sit on. After that, we need to get the arms going, so I'm just going to roll out a very small piece into a tube and cut it in half. That's going to work perfectly because that's naturally going to make the part you cut with your fingernail or knife or whatever you use flat and more broad than the narrow tips that you had rolled out. Make sure those are the parts that you put towards the back. Basically, that's going to represent the shoulders and the upper arms, and they're going to be a little bit beefier than the very fine tip at the front. That's going to be the hands. So quickly assembling it, you can put the body on top of the feet, give it a little push down, and then figure out which side you want the front of the hat to be. It's going to determine the adorableness, so it's a very important decision. Smush it all together, and then lastly, just kind of add your arms however you want them, but be sure to put the thick part towards the back, just one on each side. You want to make sure that they do kind of stick forward a little bit, but you can just round them around the little round tummy that the gnome is going to have. And we're going to paint on the face, so at least with these gnomes, I'm not making a separate head. I'm just making them like a cute, adorable little squish pots of clay gnomes. So this is essentially the body of the first one. That's exactly what it's going to look like, and then all we are going to do is put that to the side to dry just a little bit before we fire it in the oven and get to work on our second gnome. I want 2 gnomes and 2 little mushrooms. This one is going to be a different color profile, so I'm kneading my black clay and my gray clay. I am making a gray circle for the body, and I'm going to start with the feet. So I'm just making a little crescent shape or a little Pac-Man shape, and that's going to be the pointy tip shoes that he's got and the nice flat base to sit on. And then after that, I'm also going to match his arms and his hat to the feet. Basically, I'm making the gnomes very accessorized. Their hats, their shirt sleeves, and their shoes are all matching colors, but you can mix and match that if you want. I just think it'd be cute for a little bit of color consistency. I'm pointing his shoes up a little bit and then just going to curl the tips, but making sure that there is a nice flat base for him to sit on. And then I'm going to get started on his arms. Roll them out just like you did with the red one, pinch the center, and that's going to give you the nice thick shoulders. Putting those off to the side so we can work on his hat, get that nice and kneaded into a little conical shape.
For this one, I'm not going to add the little dots for the mushroom. It's just gonna be a little black beanie cap. I'm gonna make it a little bit sharper in the tip and roll it down quite a bit more than I did on the red. I just think that'd be cute and a little bit more variety. Assembling is easy as always. Put the body on the feet, figure out how you want your hat to go, smush it all together, and then add the arms. This is basically everything you need to assemble little tiny gnomes, and I think they look adorable. So next up, we are going to start the mushrooms. I want to apologize in advance because I either didn't film it or something happened and it didn't film, so not all of the mushroom putting together came through the way it should, but most of it did. So we're going to start on the mushrooms. They're going to have silver bases, sparkly silver bases for mine, and I'm just making little conical shapes the way I did for the hats. These are the stems of the mushrooms, so pointy side up, and they need to be flat on the bottom so that they can sit down properly. Then I want basically my mushrooms to match my gnomes, so I'm doing a black cap on one and a red cap on the other. For the red cap, I would like little white dots because I want it to match the hat. That's important to me, so I'm just going to break off these little white dots and mush them onto the top of my red cap. And then basically all I'm going to do is they're flat on one side and rounded on the other, and I just push them into the top of the gray bases. Sorry, that's the part of the video that cut out. But once you've got them all together, put them on some foil and bake them according to the instructions on the package. It takes about half an hour, and then you have cute, adorable little gnomes. We're not quite done yet. We still need to paint the faces on them. So I've decided that I want my gnomes to look differently. The first gnome, the red gnome, I think is going to be a girl, and she is going to have lovely red hair, which is going to go so nicely with her little transparent pink body and red hat. I think it's adorable. I like red hair and red clothes. That's just a personal preference. But basically I'm putting 2 swipes on either side of where the face is going to be above the arms, and then little dots down for the braids, and at the very bottom I'm putting 3 spikes, and that's going to represent braided hair coming down. I'm going back in with a skin color. She's going to be kind of a little pinky gnome because she's got a pink body and red head, but don't make it much further down than the hair extends, just a nice little circle, and let that dry. Afterwards, we're going to put our face on. Next up, we have the gnome who's dressed all in silver and black. He's going to be a guy, and he's going to be a little bit older, so for his hair, I want it to be silver, and I think that's going to complement the body choice really well. So I'm actually just going in with white hair to represent, you know, like a silver-haired old gentleman. I'm putting my little swipes to the right and the left of the face, and then I'm going to come in with a beard for him. So he's not going to have long braided hair the way my little girl gnome did. He's going to have a big full bushy beard and hair off to either side of his face. And then once that dries, I'm going to go back in with the facial features. I just have a very fine tip brush dipped in a deep blue. You could use whatever color you want for the eyes, and I'm just doing little dots for the eyes. If you have a super thin brush, which I don't, you might be able to paint more focused facial features, but I don't really have that option, so I'm working with what I've got. Going back in with a little bit of red for the mouth, and of course they're smiling because they are happy little gnomes. And I'm going to do that for both of them and then let them dry. I don't need to paint the mushroom, so I'm not even going to worry about that at all. But these are how they turned out. They're super cute, and once they're dry, we're going to get them inside their little gnome home and see how they like it.
And here we have our gnomes, very happy in their little gnome home, which is a super cute little plant that my friend gave me. As I said, we've got the 2 little mushrooms, our lovely lady down here, and the little guy tucked up there. He's starting to lean a little bit, but I can just refigure him with the rocks. But yeah, I think these turned out super cute. I love having these in the little plant. They're just a fun little whimsical reminder every time I look at them. So hope you guys enjoyed the craft, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.